Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Not going to be long. Just want to make a video regarding the matter of the name that we say we are and can lay claim to, giving honor and praise to the Creator and the Maker of heaven and earth, the Most High. This is the word here, Yisrael. Now, for those who say Hebrew has no vowels, they will say this is Yashara'Allah or Yashu. Ra'al or Yasharal. You see it different ways said by those who say Hebrew has no vowels. And this is no disrespect intended nonetheless, but Ah is a vowel. It's a sound. What a vowel is in actuality is a written sound. So if you were to say this is Yashara Allah, you're still saying vowels with it, just saying it as Ah. All right, so we just want to point that out. Now, next thing to point out with this, brothers and sisters, where we're seeing Yisrael, this is the Yod, the Kirik, the Sin, the Shawar, the Resh with the Kwamatz, and the Lamed with the Zareh. Now, let's look at this very carefully. This Yod that you see right here, right, making a Y sound, all right, serves as a prefix. So if you were to just say this here, the Sin and the Resh, right? It comes from the root word Sarah. The word Sarah in Hebrew means to contend. All right? So we want to point that out for reference purposes. So now this Yod serves as the third person the third person masculine, singular, future tense. Why do we want to point out, brothers and sisters, the aspect of it saying in future tense is this? Because this word here, El, right? It comes from the root word ayil. The word ayil, brothers and sisters, means to have power or to be mighty or to have strength. So that's something we want to point out in that particular regard. So what are we saying, brothers and sisters, in this particular case? Is this Yod, all right, serving as a prefix, showing the future tense of this root word here, meaning as stated to contend. And this one here, El, translated loosely by saying God, speaking of the Creator. Yisrael would mean, brothers and sisters, El, the Creator, will contend. That's what that means in that particular case. So many times brothers and sisters would say that Yisrael means Prince of the Power. In spirituality, perhaps. But if you want to talk about the aspect of literal meaning, or if you want to talk about the aspect of linguistics, as opposed to just spiritual aspect on why Jacob was given that name, this is what we want to point out in that particular case. Now, as stated, this is not going to be long. Just wanted to point this out for reason and purposes and so forth and so on. All right? We want to emphasize, as been pointed out in other videos, that Yisrael is not from Isis, Ra, and El. That's something that was purported by Masons and people of that kind of nature to try to throw people off from the truth of what it is. You understand? It is not from Isis, Ra, and El. Isis is not even an Egyptian god or goddess. That's a whole nother subject. We're not going to get too far into that particular aspect. And brothers and sisters, El, we want to talk about a little bit, if we will. All right? Let's look at that. Many times people say that El was a Canaanite deity and then say that the Israelites adopted it. Saying El, brothers and sisters, is no different than saying the quote-unquote loose term in English, God. You understand? So if somebody said God in 1604 and then somebody said God in 2004, one did not borrow it. We have to just know and understand, brothers and sisters, what the speaker or author is talking and conveying. All right? So as pointed out, this word here, El, comes from the root word, all right, Ayil, which means to be mighty or to have strength. In Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, verse 32, you read La'el Yadeka, meaning no, speaking about power in your hand. All right, now, brothers and sisters, in the scriptures, before Ham came into existence, Ham is the father of Canaan, right? You had a person named Mahalalel, all right? And you have the word El in that man's name. So that's something we want to point out in that particular regard. You have Mahalalel, Mahalalel, all right? That's in the book of Genesis, all right? That was even before, brothers and sisters, Ham even came into existence, much less Canaan. So El, identifying power, mighty, so forth and so on, was already known among the people even before the Hamite dispensation came into the earth. All right, so we just want to point that out for reason and purposes. With that, shalom.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. I hope I can be heard and heard well. For those who are online, if you hear me well and if you are in good spirits, please press the number 4. I apologize to the people who were on before, and then we had to start over, family, in that particular case. Nonetheless, brothers and sisters, again, if I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, we asking you to press, brothers and sisters, the number 4. Thank you for that, family, in that particular case. This is your brother and friend, More Yeshaya ben Yisrael. It's so good. Thank you, my older brother in spirit, and pressing that. We hope and pray, again, that everybody is well and will be better. We are going to go into this again, brothers and sisters. And we do not intend for this to be long. This is in regards to the Hebrew of the word Manasseh and Ephraim. If you saw the commercial or so a while ago, we went over the etymology and the meaning of the word Yisrael. We understand at Danite Publications that it is important when you claim something to try to glean and gain as much information about it as possible. The meaning of the word Yisrael, brothers and sisters. What does it mean in its spiritual meaning? What does it mean in its literal meaning? And Ephraim, the younger brother of Manasseh. We want to describe Hebraically those words and names, brothers and sisters. We ask you to comment, like, share, and subscribe. All right. Thank you for that, family. Let us do, brothers and sisters, the screen share. If this is able to be pulled up and seen, I should say be able to see it on my side. Yes, Day Night Publications, glory to our maker. We ask you all to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for that, family. What we see right here, brothers and sisters, if we were to looking at all of this in the Hebrew, right, the laser pointer, remembering that Hebrew is read from right to left, we see here Menashe, the mem, the nun, the sheen, and the hey. Now, inside the verb matters, this is referred to as a PL verb stem. The PL verb stem generally is the intensification of the qual stem. There's the qual, which is the simple active, the nif'al, which is the simple passive, the PL, brothers and sisters, which in many cases serves as the intensification of the qual stem. Then the pu'al, which is the passive matter of the PL stem. Then there's the hif'il, brothers and sisters, which we're going to describe a little bit in this lesson, which generally is the causative of the qual stem. Then there's the hofal, said as hufal by many cases, which is the passive of the hif'il stem. And then there is, brothers and sisters, the hitpa'el stem, brothers and sisters, in that particular case, which serves as a reflexive. Now, In this particular case, however, the word Manasseh being in the PL verb stem, we know and understand that this word means and is serving as the normal he feels stem, meaning one causing something to happen. In this particular case, it's maybe quote unquote in a regular matter. Inside of the qual stem, the word nasha, brothers and sisters, means to forget, right? Now, for those who know anything in regards with other matters of verbs in Hebrew, you know that the verbs that end with the letter hey, and remember, hey is the fifth letter. Also, the letter hey, brothers and sisters, serves as a feminine letter. Now, with verbs that end with the letter hey is deemed a lamed hey verb. So it is considered in many cases what many will call irregular. And by that, what we mean is its irregularity shows in its past tense. Katabti is deemed a shlamim or regular verb. All right. And in that, you have it to where you would say e, whatever the verb is. Shamarti, I observed. Akalti, I ate. Now, when you're dealing with verbs that end with the letter hey, as in nasha, to forget, asa, to do or to make, ra'ah, to see, its irregularity shows in the past tense. So instead of saying shamarti as a'e, you would say nashiti, which means I forgot. And we'll see that, brothers and sisters, when we get into the book of Lamentations in this presentation. So screenshots are welcome. All right. I can be reached at text or WhatsApp at 908-587-4841. Thank you again, my older brother in spirit. It's all good. And anybody else who is online, brothers and sisters, it is definitely appreciated. You could be anywhere else right now or later on, but you're currently or later will be listening to this, which is definitely appreciated. Now, brothers and sisters, if we were to look right into the scriptures and we go, if we will, to Genesis chapter 41, let us see, brothers and sisters, what we can ascertain in this particular case. In Genesis 41, verse 50, it says, shown in the blue right there, and unto Joseph were born two sons before the year of famine came, whom Asenath, the daughter of Potipharah, priest of On, bore unto him. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God have made me forget all my trouble and all my father's house. And the name of the second called he Ephraim, for God have made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. Now we're going to impart, brothers and sisters, right now, be dealing or deal with verse 51, which says here, and Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God have made me forget all my toil and all my father's house. Now in verse 51 in Hebrew, we see this. Vayikra Yosef et Shem Hapkor. And Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh. Ki Nashani Elohim et Kol Amali wa et Kol Beiti. So the word, brothers and sisters, we want to focus on first here, as we see in the blue, is in the scriptures in Genesis here, the word Manasseh, meaning one who causes to forget. Remembering this is part of the PL stem, brothers and sisters. It goes on to say in the Hebrew, ki, because, or for, nashani. Now, brothers and sisters, the word nashani, brothers and sisters, means literally, he caused me to forget. Nasha, in this case, brothers and sisters, means just that. He caused me to forget. The ni part at the end of Nashani, brothers and sisters, means me. All right. It serves in that particular case as a suffix. For those who might be interested, and I want to state this in giving respect, if we will, on a human level, to even our ancestor Joseph, he kept his integrity. He didn't just say, "Oh, well, you know what? Well, the lady wants me to do something that's wicked before the Most High. I'm going to do it." Joseph did not fall for that kind of matter, brothers and sisters. And when we look at this particular matter in this particular verse right here, we see that Joseph did not forget the matter of his culture, where he came from, his language, and so forth. And dealing with the language in this particular case is one of the things that made me want to get into the language even more. All right. So when we go back here, brothers and sisters, and pull this up, right, we want to point out that this here says in the Hebrew, all right, family, nah, oh, Nashani Elohim. Now, for those who've been following the channel and or who already know, Elohim is in reference and about the Most High, God. All right. So again, want to point that out, if we will, for reference purposes. Okay, so now, Nashani Elohim, God has made me to forget, or God has caused me to forget in that particular matter. All right. So if there's any questions or comments, please feel free to put within the chat. The next thing, brothers and sisters, we care to go over comes, brothers and sisters, from the book of Lamentations, if we will. We are going to go to Lamentations chapter 3 in the Hebrew and see what it says. All right. Lamentations chapter 3, verse 17. And let's see what we can ascertain in this. And my soul is removed far from peace. I forgot prosperity. So what is this saying when we go into the Hebrew? Watiznak mishalom nafshi. Now let's look at this word real quick. Nafshi, meaning my soul or my body. Brothers and sisters, it comes from the word nefesh, all right, which means soul or body in that particular case. So nefesh, meaning that is regulated as what they call a segolit noun. All right. So to show the possession of many nouns in the first person or in the first possession, if that's the correct term, my whatever, my hand, my soul, my body, my foot, my knee, etc., is usually ending with the E sound. Yad is hand, Yadi is my hand. Nefesh is soul, Nafshi is my soul. All right. In that particular matter, if we will. So now let's look at this. That's what we see in this particular word right here, nafshi. Then we see here nashiti toba. This is in Lamentations chapter 3, verse 17. So in this we see nashiti, I forgot. Now in the English, for whatever reason, it says prosperity. But we know, brothers and sisters, that the word toba also means good. All right. So just wanted to point that out. It may not, and I say this in no disrespect, may be the happiest of examples to show, but we do want to show the linguistic matters of the language in this particular case. All right. So let's pull this back up, and we want to show this by saying Nashiti Toba. All right. Look and say added in that particular case, if we will. Now, brothers and sisters, let us continue in this particular matter. This right here, we see comes from the book of Isaiah, chapter 44, verse 21. The next part we see as Yisrael lo ti nasheni. So let's look at this, brothers and sisters. All right. If we were to go to Isaiah, chapter 44, verse 21, remember these things, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. I have formed thee. Thou art my servant, O Israel. Thou shouldest not forget me. Brothers and sisters, very rare on this channel, but I'd like to point out that we just read a mistranslation. Here's what it says in the Hebrew. It says, Zakar ele Yaakov. Remember these things, Jacob, where Yisrael and Israel, ki abdi ata, because you are my servant. Now let's look at this word here, abdi, my servant. It comes from the Hebrew word ebed, which means servant. But remember, we just talked about in nouns and showing a possession of something. For my whatever is usually ending with an E. Abdi, my servant, from the word ebed. All right, meaning servant. Ki abdi ata, because you are my servant. Yizaratika, I have formed thee. From the Hebrew root word yazar, which means to form. All right, yazarti, I formed. This T, brothers and sisters, we see serving as a matter of a suffix. Now, this ka that we see here serves as another suffix. You can have more than one suffix in Hebrew with the word. The word ka in this case means you. Anytime, as in the word here, yazar, which is a verb meaning to form, F-O-R-M. Anytime a verb, brothers and sisters, has the suffix of ka at the end, it means you, whatever. I want to emphasize that. Anytime ka is at the end of a verb, serving as a suffix, it means you, whatever that verb is. Ra'iti ka, I saw you. Shamartika, I watched you. Yedatika, I knew you. Shalom Beit Zadok. Thank you for joining on. So now, anytime ka serves as a suffix for a noun, not a verb, as a noun suffix, it means your whatever. Yad, hand. Yad ka, your hand. Rosh ka, your head. Birakaka, your knee. Malkaka, your king. So these are things that we care to bring out. Ebedli, a servant to me. Ata, you are my servant. A servant to me, you are. Yisrael, Israel, lo, meaning no one not. Tina sheni. Now that happens to be in part the mistranslation. The English distinctly says here, O Israel, that's correct. Thou shouldest not forget me. But brothers and sisters, the Hebrew doesn't say that. The Hebrew distinctly says, Tinasheni. Tinasheni means you will not be forgotten of me. Let me expound upon what I'm saying. The word nasha, brothers and sisters, means to forget. The word nisha means to be forgotten. The word that we just talked about is within the in the nephal stem. The nephal, as we went over a couple of minutes ago, generally serves as the passive of the qual. So if nasha, nun, shin, hey, brothers and sisters, is inside of the matter of the qual stem, the same way the nephal, nun, shin, hey, said as nisha, serves as it within its passive. Let me explain. If I have a pen and I'm hitting my hand with the pen, the hand that's getting hit is passive. The pen is active. So that's how we can know the distinction between, say, active and passive. If there's any questions regarding that. If I can be heard well and people in good spirits, please press the number 4. As we are on Day and Night Publications, we are on the platforms of Mordeh Yeshaya Torah lessons. We're reading mainly from In Spirit, the book of Genesis, and brothers and sisters, Mordeh Yeshaya Hebrew lessons, because as we get into this matter, we want to get into the matter of the linguistics of what we're talking about. We are claiming names and tribes and naming ourselves and naming our children, and we need to know the meanings of these names. And this is not to be disrespectful. I want to say, and I really hope to not offend men in Israel, please, and I don't say this to sound disrespectful, step it up. Step it up, Israel. Men. How not to be preachy, how we deal with our sisters, how we deal with our daughters, how we deal with our wives, and for those who still have them, how we deal with our mothers. And how does that connect to the language? Do you know that men in Israel, in general terms, it, again, is not all the way around the board, and it's not to be disrespectful. Men in Israel, in general, do not know the feminine aspect of the language. By comparison, Aleph Bet Gamel Dalet Hey while Zion Ket said, Yo, Kaflam et Memnu Samek Ayin Pei Zade Kufre Shin Tao. Those are 22 letters. We do see that in Psalms 119. The letter Hey, which actually is in the word Manasseh at the end, is a feminine letter. The letter Tau is a feminine letter. So we need to understand the feminine aspect and the feminine connotation in Hebrew. And by the way, not trying to be racial or say anything of that kind of sort, there are many quote unquote black girl female names, if you will, that can be traced back into Hebrew, such as the word Tamika. Tamika is inside the Hebrew verb book. It comes from the word tamak, which means to support. So Tamika, brothers and sisters, a very common name among sisters, means support. Tamikati, my support. Tamikaka, your support. But the word Tamika itself, which is a common name among sisters, means support. And then there are others, Natasha, Shamika, Keisha. We'll go over a list about that in time, brothers and sisters. But brothers and sisters, thank you again, my brother and friend Beit Zadok, and typing in the number 4. All right. Now let us look at this. So now, if this is saying in Hebrew, right? Yisrael, we went over that earlier. Lo, ti, na, she, ni. Now, how do we know that that is within, brothers and sisters? The nifal stem is because of the vowel pattern. Ti, na, she, ni. Remembering that the word that we're talking about in root is nasha, and it ends bold, not bold, right? With the letter hey, by default is deemed a lamed hey verb. And in it being a lamed hey verb, brothers and sisters, we might see the hey dropping out in its conjugations. All right, so just want to point that out. This ni, brothers and sisters, all right, that we want to show in this dark mustard kind of color, all right? Bold, not bold, bold, not bold. Let us enlarge this one for a reason and talk about it. What you have just seen enlarged, brothers and sisters, serves as a suffix, meaning me. Ra'ani, he saw me. Shamrani, she watched me. So that's what we want to point out in that particular case. So we've already discussed how ka works as a suffix with verbs, and ka works as a suffix, brothers and sisters, with nouns. And we see how ni works in this particular case with verbs. All right. So if there's any questions, please feel free to put within the chat. All right. Here we see, brothers and sisters, right, in this particular case, Yashe Laka. All right. The word Yashe Laka, brothers and sisters, is 2 words. Sorry about that. Laka means to you or for you. All right, in that particular case. So now when we say, or we look at Yashe, is the word we're going to show bold, not bold, bold, not bold. If we will, let's enlarge this. Well, I enlarged it too much. If we will, right? And let's see what we can ascertain in this particular matter, right? Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 11, brothers and sisters, and see what we see in this particular case. All right. Job chapter 11 in the Hebrew, and let's see what we can see in this. The verse 6 says, and that he would tell thee the secrets of wisdom, that sound wisdom is manifold. Know therefore that the Most High exacteth of thee less than thine iniquity deserveth. So let's look at this, brothers and sisters. The Hebrew says, Ki Yashe Laka Eloha. Eloha, in many cases, in the book of Judges, in the book of Job, brothers and sisters, is how God is said. Elohim, in many cases, throughout the scriptures, and Eloha throughout the book of Job. So let's look at this. Ki Yashe. This is within the He-fil stem. And what does it mean? About exacting, about laying upon, brothers and sisters. That is what that is talking about in that particular case. That right there is within, believe it or not, within its He-fil stem. So let us continue, if we will. All right. Wanted to add that to the dictionary, if we will. Let me know how the sound is, family. And let's continue. If there's any more questions or comments, please feel free to put within the chat. Now, we're going to change the font on this. I believe that's still called the font when we do Times New Roman. Right? Times Roman in this case here. All right. And let's look, family, in this particular matter. Right? What do we see here in the Hebrew? It says the Hebrew word hif ra. The Hebrew word hifra means to fertilize. This too, brothers and sisters, is, believe it or not, a He-fil stem, if we will. All right. Now, when you fertilize something, you're causing it to be seeded, if that's a word I can use in this particular case. All right. So now, Ephraim, let us go back, if we will, brothers and sisters, into Genesis chapter 41, and let's see what we can ascertain and see in the Hebrew in this particular case. Genesis 41, and we're going to start in verse 52. In the name of the second called he Ephraim, for God hath made me fruitful in the land of my affliction. We'et Shem Hasheni, in the name of the second, Quara Ephraim. Quara means he called. Brothers and sisters, that happens to be a lamed aleph verb inside its said irregularity. Ephraim. Now, it says, in continuing, Ki Hifrani Elohim. If we want to point something out, if we can, right? The patriarch Joseph, in naming his children, shows that he did not forget the Most High. He named his children based upon deeds that had happened from the Most High in Joseph's life, the things that the Creator has shown him in his life. So it shows a high spiritual matter in regards on how he named his children. Now in here it says, Ki Hifrani Elohim be'eretz ani. In the land of my affliction did the Most High make me fruitful, is what he's saying in this particular case. What we're going to do, family, is take an intermission, and we'll be back. Thank you for that. Shalom, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Let us continue in this. Thank you for the time, family. We pray that everybody is well and will be better. I wanted to take a quick intermission. Thank you for bearing with me with that. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please press the number 4. Thank you for joining on, our brother and friend, Terrence Williams, Beit Zadok. It's all good. And again, if I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please press the number 4. We are and have been going through the matter of the Hebrew of Manasseh and Ephraim. And the part where we're up to now is in discussing about the baby brother of the two, Ephraim, in that particular case. And what we want to do, brothers and sisters, in this is, let's look, Ephraim. The word we see here, all right, we want to get into some Hebrew linguistics as we are on the platforms Mora Yeshaya Torah Lessons, and we are on the platform Mora Yeshaya Hebrew Lessons. Let us look at this. We have here the word pre, which means be fruitful, brothers and sisters. Then we have here, brothers and sisters, the word Peru, which means, brothers and sisters, be fruitful. So what is the difference, brothers and sisters, if we were to put all of this in the same matter of the Times New Roman thing? What is the difference between pare that we see here, brothers and sisters, in Peru that we see here? Is that one is for the singular and one is for the plural. So when you say Peru, as we see in the book of Genesis chapter 1, right? This is masculine plural. All right. Now, pare, brothers and sisters, is masculine singular. So that, brothers and sisters, is something that we care to get into for reference purposes. Now, if we were to, brothers and sisters, get into the scriptures, let's go and look up Genesis chapter 1. All right. And let's see what we can ascertain and gather in that particular case. Right? If we were to go all the way to Genesis chapter 1 in this manner, right? 17, 16, 15, 14, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if we go to verse 22, it says in the English, and God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply. Let's stop. The fact that they were being told to be fruitful and multiply is a blessing by itself. And fill the waters in the seas and let fowl multiply in the earth. The Most High, we are seeing, wants population to grow. So when men, whoever these men are, that speak about population control, are they against the Most High? If we take what's written in the book of Joshua as accurate, one of the reasons why the flood came in the days of Noah is because, not to be sexist, some of the women were saying they didn't want to produce babies because it was going to take away from their figure. Now, if you know anything about babies, they may produce stretch marks, but there are things in the earth that will sit there and cause that to change. I know of women who gave birth, and you wouldn't know they gave birth sometime later on, less than a year later, because they about putting that work in. Proverbs talks about the woman that is of virtue in Proverbs 31. It says what? She eateth not the bread of idleness. Now, personally, and I don't mean to sound ignorant, please, I don't understand why a woman would want a child. I hope I'm not going to lose subscribers, LOL. I hope like this brother's an Israelite. He just read, be fruitful. What I mean is this: I'm a brother, I'm a man, I'm a male. I do not have a cervix. Ainli mebusha. I do not have the female organ. Ainli rechem. I do not have what a female has. And there are Hebrew words for the vagina, which is the word rechem, or mebusha, we see in the book of Deuteronomy. All right. So looking at it like that, brothers and sisters, not having those organs, I used to be puzzled. Why is Rachel not the happiest not having a child? Why is Sarah not per se the happiest in not having a child? Why is there a conflict between Hannah and Peninnah in the time of the book of Samuel for one having a child and one not? Well, Elkanah was able to tell who became Samuel's mother. Am I not better to thee than 10 sons? Which shows you the character of us as men and how we should be. But brothers and sisters, and then I spoke with females, and I mean, being quite candid, it's natural for a woman to want a baby. I will never understand that. See, this gets into the matter of glory to the Most High. His ways are unsearchable. You are male. You may not be blessed enough to understand the work of the Most High, or why somebody will want seed within one and to push a baby out that might grow up to be, if anything like me, a little boy that you want to pluck in the forehead. LOL. You understand, growing up. And so when it says that his work is unsearchable, me not being a female cannot understand and search out the matters of why a female, the creation of the Most High, would want one. But everything is is perhaps not made for you to understand. You understand? Know your role, know your place, and do your best. And ask the Most High for guidance. Things that are above thy head, do not search out, is what our ancestors also said. So not having a cervix, such as myself, and not understanding why any human will want to have to push another one out is not for you to understand. That may just be for the creator and its female creation to understand. Know where your place is at. Humble in that particular matter. So these are things, looking at it, what I ascertained in that manner. And as our brother Terrence wrote, yes, they are against TMH. For those who are seeing, TMH stands for the Most High. People into, quote, population control and endangering animals, and like the dodo bird also, for instance, and things of that kind of nature. That is against the Most High. The children of Israel are not even supposed to be counted when you read in the scriptures. So when they take your name at birth and then they match it up with their social security number that they gave you, and then they put it inside of a computer, inside of what they said is some state in the East Coast, and every person is tracked inside the United States as it is, that right there is ridiculous. There was, for decades, no form of quote unquote true privacy. You want to know why people saying you get weird spam calls? They all in your business already. So getting back into this particular portion, it says in Genesis 1:22, and God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. It says in the Hebrew, Vaybarek otam Elohim lemor, pru urbu umilu et hamayim bayamim wa'of yi reb ba'aretz. And there was evening and there was morning, a fifth day. So brothers and sisters, when we get into this kind of matter, we see about the Peru, which means being fruitful. You understand? And when we pull this back up, brothers and sisters, what again can we ascertain? Right? This in the Hebrew says, Yif Ru Yashe. Okay. Now, what does that mean? Yifru Yashe, brothers and sisters. It comes from the word para, as we've been going over, brothers and sisters. But we want to show, because I wanted to find my notes where it was at, in Isaiah chapter 45, brothers and sisters, if we will. Let's see what we can ascertain in this particular case. Isaiah 45, right? And we're going to read in verse 8. And it says, drop down, ye heavens, from above, and let the skies pour down righteousness. Let the earth open that they may bring forth salvation, and let her cause righteousness to spring up together. I, Yah, have created it. The Hebrew says this, brothers and sisters. Hara ifu shemayim mima'al. Hara ifu shemayim mima'al. Ush kakwim yizru zedek. Tiftak eretz yifru yesha. So when we see tiftak, brothers and sisters, this word that we see here in Isaiah 45 verse 8, it comes from the word, brothers and sisters, sorry about that, it comes from the word patak. The word patak, brothers and sisters, means to open. It's a verb. That tau that we see here serves as a prefix. Eretz meaning earth. Why yif ru. Remember, we just went in Genesis and read the word. Okay, somebody asked me, Moray, do you share your PowerPoint and PDFs? I really have no PDFs, by the way. Do you share your PowerPoint and PDF with your subscribers to read throughout the months? No, I don't. And I have no problem doing so. Do you believe, brother, please talk to me, Ak, do you think that that's a good idea, that I should share like the link or something of that more than what I do, as opposed to just sending it to people's telephone numbers and so forth? If you believe, as a brother who subscribes to the channel and supports the channel, I am open to constructive criticism. One thing, let me say, is I don't have PDFs in this particular case. Unless it's already on a book a brother already wrote. You understand that I talk about after Sabbath. But if we're talking about a matter of sharing it with the people who subscribe, there's over 200-300 subscribers. I don't know them all. My number, and I don't mean to be funny, and thank you for that. I love getting advice. My number, as we know, is 908-587-4841. So if somebody wanted to get the information before I present it and follow along that way, what portion of the book I'm reading and so forth, I have no problem sharing that in that particular case. If you feel that helps, please let me know, and I can sit there and ascertain and do that. A lot of information in the presentation are in the books. All right, Beit Zadok, thank you for that. The information that is in the books, are we talking about, not being funny, the history books? Because what I will say this, what I did regarding the PowerPoint and the history books. Let me say this. I focus mainly as a quote unquote black man into the history of what happened with slavery. But when I talk about other parts of the book, such as what happened in ancient Israel, what happened in black culture in history, such as the Sangor, the Mosai Kingdom, the matter of what happened in East Africa, the Elephantine matter, I hint on that, if we will. If we're talking about matters of Hebrew, as far as what's in the book, there is some things that are stated online that are in the books, and then there's some things in the books that I just don't state online. Saying in that particular case. All right. Now, one thing, Beit Zadok, and I thank you for your comment, that I know I harp on because when I watch the videos again and again after I've done it, is not to be sidetracked from the Hebrew lesson today, the Anthony Johnson matter. You are not going to sit there and say that a black man was the pioneer of American slavery. In each of the history books that I talked about that, I use different references to show, not being redundant, on how there's no way a black man was a pioneer of American slavery. I've been asking that question for 10 plus years. How did he get the legal standing to be a slave master in Virginia in the 17th century? Passing away in 1670. And a property that his family did have was then confiscated by the government of Virginia. So much for him being what they try to make him out to be, huh? The new book is a great beginner. Thank you for that. Are you speaking about the book that I did called Hebrew Couples Remastered? That's the newest Hebrew book. In that particular case, a lot of vocabulary in that. The Hebrew is Easy series as well. Thank you for that as well in that particular case, brothers and sisters. All right. Yeah, the Hebrew for Couples has a picture of a man and a woman on the front of it, and is prelated and predicated on speaking about matters between males and females. All right. Again, we males need to learn the feminine principles of the language. I don't know all Israelites, but there are perhaps, and I say perhaps, not that I need to even say this, not trying to be disrespectful. More women know the masculine matters of Hebrew than say men know the feminine matters of Hebrew. We have to pick your teacher and let's get the ball going. All right. Now, when we get back in Isaiah chapter 40, thank you for the conversation there, family. When we get back in Isaiah chapter 45, verse 8, the part that we're talking about that connects to this particular PowerPoint, when it says, which we're going to show here, right? If we bold, not bold, bold, not bold, and what we're talking about, Yifru Yashe, right? Bold, not bold. We see that again in Isaiah 45, verse 8. And what does it say, family, in the English? Let the earth open that they may bring forth salvation. The earth to bring forth salvation. What are we pointing out, brothers and sisters? Salvation can come from the earth. The Hebrew word Yesha, which is part of my name, as in Yeshaya, Yah is salvation, in part comes from the creation of the Most High, the earth. Vegetation comes from the earth. Health comes from the earth. We, as humans, came from the earth, brothers and sisters. Like dust you are, and to dust you shall return. And so, looking, if we will, brothers and sisters, at that, this is something we can ascertain. I would like to point something out, family, in this as well. Earth is considered, in the Hebrew understanding, inside of the feminine. This is why we see here, Tiftak Aretz. That tau that we see there in the blue serves as a feminine matter. The earth is deemed feminine in Hebraic thoughts because from the earth grows things. From the feminine principle in Hebrew, things and how you get creation started. You cannot have the creative principle in Hebrew without the feminine principle. See, as we've been pointing out from before, Hebrew is not misogynistic. nor misogynistic. It is not about the hatred of females, nor is it about the hatred of males. And since, brothers and sisters, it is not about the hatred of any gender, we have to get along one with another if we want to be in line with the earth itself. So let us look and go on in this, brothers and sisters. All right. It goes to say in the Hebraic matter. Looking at this PowerPoint matter here, it says, Wehif reti otka. All right. And it says, Wahif reti otka. Now, otka, brothers and sisters, all right, is inside the matter of Hebrew is Easy Volume 2, for those who are interested. And this sirs that we see here, bold, not bold, bold, not bold. If we look at this word here, brothers and sisters, bold, not bold, bold, not bold, it serves, brothers and sisters, as one of the pronouns meaning you. This you is not you as in you are. This you is just you. This called, brothers and sisters, the object pronoun, if we will. All right, so let's look. If we were to go to Genesis chapter 17, brothers and sisters, and let's see what we can gain in this particular case. So we go to Genesis 1 here. If we go all the way to chapter 17 and verse 6, what do we see in the English? And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. This is a promise given to Abraham. So perhaps when brothers say peace, king, it may not be a bad thing. There is a presentation I did about the royalty matter in Hebrew. And let me explain real quick. A king, Melech in Hebrew, in Hebraic thought, is not the same way as the king of England, if we will. When you go, brothers and sisters, Malak meaning to rule, Melech meaning king. If it says that Israel is supposed to be a kingdom of priests, and this is before the anointing of Saul, how can we not be kings within the kingdom? If there were already princes in the congregation before there was a human king named Saul in the scriptures, there are decades, if we will, between the princes in the book of Numbers that brought up each offering. The prince of the tribe of Yehudah, the prince of the tribe of Zebulun, the prince of the tribe of Manasseh, the prince of the tribe of Reuben. How do we have princes without having a human king? Is because of what the word prince in Hebrew, Nasi, means. What does Melech mean? We went over the matter of the meaning of Yisrael. We cannot take, per se, Webster's dictionary matter of royalty and think we're going to sit there and apply it to the Hebraic thought. Because even king has a different connotation. One who causes one to be of thought is what the book of Nehemiah shows, as in Malak, as in one who takes counsel. One who considers and counsels is considered in Hebraic thought of a kingly nature. That's why in Day and Night Publications, we push the linguistics. So let that be noted and understood. Some people may have not understood where one was coming from in that particular matter and in that particular case. Pick your teacher. Brothers and sisters, so what we're going to do in looking at this, right? It says, and I will make thee exceeding fruitful. The Hebrew says, Wahifreti otka. Now, we went over the different matters of the PL stem and the other stems. This stem here, brothers and sisters, that we see if we pull the PowerPoint back up, right, is within the Hephil stem. Now, unlike the matter with Manasseh, where you had it to where the PL stem took the causative, as we discussed earlier, this word here under Ephraim, as we've been discussing, this does take the causative inside of the matter of the Hefil stem. Now, let's look at this word here, what Hefreti, brothers and sisters. We want to point out, if we enlarge this, right? Let's enlarge this if we will. In this particular case, all right? And if we enlarge that wow, and if we color code it for a reason in the yellow, that wow that you see there in biblical Hebrew, if I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please press the number 4. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please press the number 4. Thank you for that, family. What you see there shown in the yellow shows this to be what is considered and understood as the wow consecutive. The wow consecutive, thank you for that, Beit Zadok. The wow consecutive in Hebrew, in biblical Hebrew, shows it to where a normal past tense word is thus translated into the future tense. And a normal future tense word is translated in the past tense. This is called in biblical Hebrew, wow hakipuk, also understood as the wow consecutive. And in this particular nature, we see this throughout the matter of the scriptures. So what are we saying, brothers and sisters? This T that we're going to show here, brothers and sisters, in the red, is a suffix. The T, when dealing with verbs, and remember, a verb is an action word, right? It means I whatever. Ra'iti, I saw. Shamarti, I watched. Akalti, I ate. Shatiti, I drank. Kashabti, I thought. Yadati, I knew. Well, Hifreti means I caused to be fruitful. Now, that is normally a past tense word if you get rid of what you see there in the color-coded yellow. That serving as a prefix meaning and, A-N-D, the conjunction in Hebrew is connected to the word it shows its connection with. Wa-ish. Not wa-ish, as in and a man. Wa-isha, and a woman, not wa-isha. All right, so I just want to point that out. Now, Hifreti, that word by itself, right? Thank you for pressing 4, Joy, full, and hi back to you, if you can hear me. Thank you for that. If we look at this here, right? And let's show this, if we will, in green. Hifreti by itself means I caused to be fruitful, right? What Hifreti, and I will cause to be fruitful. Now, this otka, brothers and sisters, that we're going to color code this, brothers and sisters, in the purple means you. And this is serving as the matter of the pronouns. We see this if you get or read, that is to say, Hebrew is Easy, Volume 2. These pronouns go after the verb, all right, looking at it in that particular case. So again, this is just something we wanted to show, color-coded, reference purposes, family, if we will, in that particular case. Any questions, please feel free to put it within the chat. We attempt to get into the Hebrew as much and get to, for the lack of a better term, the nitty-gritty of a matter as much as possible within the language so we can ascertain said matter. All right. Now, when we look at this here, Yafraka, all right, we still see that wow serving as a prefix, Yafraka. So what can we ascertain? If we were to, brothers and sisters, enlarge, all right, at the moment, that kafsofit, we know that this is connected to a verb already. This verb happens to be another Hefil verb stem, by the way, for those interested, right? Anytime ka serves as a suffix, with a verb, it means you. Anytime ka serves as a suffix with a noun, it means your. Ka as a suffix. When you subscribe, and I'm asking you to subscribe to Mordeh Yeshaya Hebrew Lessons, there is a lesson on there called ka, the letter kaf serving as a suffix. All right? As a matter of fact, hope I'm not doing the most. Let me see if I can pull that up in this YouTube matter, if we will. Right? Kaf as a suffix, if we will. Thank you. Kaf as a suffix. And let's see what comes up, brothers and sisters. All right, Mordeh Yeshaya Hebrew Lessons. I'm going to, all right, family, put this into the chat, if we will. Kaf as a suffix, asking you again to subscribe to the channel, right? Thank you for that. The video is called Kaf the Suffix. All right, Mordeh Yeshaya Hebrew Lessons. And in that video I just showed in this, I go into this a little bit more in depth, if we will. All right, in this particular matter. Case in point, if you see Yad Ka, your hand, and then we have Yishmareh Ka, he will guard you. One is you, one is yours. All right, in that particular manner and so forth. So hopefully that's noted for reference purposes. All right, let us get and continue in this particular matter. With Yaf Rakah. Now let's go, brothers and sisters, and let's read in Genesis 28 in the scriptures. All right, we are going to go to Genesis, right? 28. And let's see what we can ascertain in this particular case. It says in verse 3, and God Almighty bless thee and make thee fruitful and multiply thee, that thou mayest be a congregation of peoples. Now, I would like to point something out. In verse 1, it says, and God called it says, and Isaac called Jacob. This is after Genesis chapter 27. Genesis chapter 27, according to some, is where it shows that Jacob was a liar and a crook and a cheat and stole his brother's blessing. No, he did not steal his brother's blessing. He was not a liar, a crook, and a cheat. After Isaac understood that it was truly Esau who, by marrying women who were not the women he was supposed to marry, you violated the covenant. And Isaac calls Jacob back after blessing him and blesses him again. So if Isaac felt cheated, disrespected, and lied to, why will he bless this said son again in the next chapter? So let's look at this. That's one thing I want to point out. Now, getting back into the Hebrew of Genesis chapter 28, verse 3, it says, Wa El Shaddai Yebarek Otka, Wa Yafraka, Wa Yar Beka, Wa Hayita Likhal Amim. So what is this saying right here? Wa Yafraka, which in Hebrew means, and make thee fruitful. Brothers and sisters, one real quick way we know about this word here, being the Hefil stem, is because of this. It has the yod with the quamats, or the patak, sorry. If it had been the Hefil, pardon me, the qual stem, would have been with the kirik, the E sound. Wayifraka, pardon me, Wayifraka, as opposed to Wayar, Wayafraka. Kept getting the pay and the race confused. What am I saying? Let me correct myself in the statement. One way we know that this is the Hefil stem for those into the verb stems like that is this, is because it says Wayaf and not Wayif. The E is more so you may see used in many cases with the future tense, with conjugated matters in the qual stem, as opposed to the Hefil stem. You might see the matter with the or the matter of the patak used. All right. So in that case right there. All right. In that particular matter. So I see I'm going to have to, brothers and sisters, deal with it in this manner and rewrite it from the notes itself. Let us look in this manner. So we're going to, yes, that was a mistake I just did in the matter. Let's go to Genesis chapter 28, and we're going to do this part again, right? And go here and copy, and we're going to go to the PowerPoint. Thank you for the time, family. All right. In this particular case, and we're going to paste that, and we're going to make it the Times New Roman matter font, if I'm using the correct term, in that manner. And this is what we see, and we want to enlarge it now. Let's do this. Let's enlarge this in this particular matter. All right. Wayafraka. This wow, brothers and sisters, we want to show, if we will, with the backdrop yellow as we did the other one, it serves as a prefix, right? This yod, we want to backdrop that in the purple, brothers and sisters, serves as a prefix. This ka, remembering this word is a root form verb, right? Brothers and sisters, serves as a suffix. So we are left essentially in root with the pei and the resh. Par, right? Bold, not bold. Bold, not bold. So what do we get, brothers and sisters, as shown in the green there? We still see the pei in the resh, brothers and sisters. Bold, not bold. Bold, not bold. We still see the pei in the resh. Follow? Bold, not bold. Bold, not bold. We still see, brothers and sisters, the pei in the resh. Bold, not bold. Bold, not bold. Do we see how easy Hebrew is? Do we see its patterns say matter as far as the language is concerned? Any questions? Please feel free to put in the chat, if we will. This wow, brothers and sisters, as the one shown above it with the yellow, in biblical Hebrew, as we pointed out, is called the wow consecutive, if we will, brothers and sisters. All right? And what are we able to ascertain in this matter? I'm going to take the liberty. I'm not going to say who, but somebody, not sure if they still there, sent me a text message saying, "Was in your class as joyful, cannot grasp anything." Let me say this to that family in regards with that. One of the first things to remember is that Hebrew is easy. It's not difficult. It's different. It's not difficult. We are able to show prefixes and suffixes. Once we understand, not to be offensive, that Hebrew, like anything else, has rules. One of the big rules in Hebrew is that it's read from right to left. What I attempt to do in Day and Night Publications and getting into this kind of matter, if we will, family, is to sit there and bring things out and get to, if we may, to quote the nitty gritty as much as possible. So this is why we would see something that's color coded. The level to where we are now, as far as the lessons are concerned, is dealing in biblical Hebrew. So it may not be, and I hate to use the term, it may not be the easiest, even though a brother wrote a book called Hebrew is Easy, which it is. But we're not, and the lessons are still there for those who are interested from years ago when we went over the Aleph and the Bet, and they who say Aleph is like an ox and Beit is a house and Gamel is the camel and Dalet is the door and so on. Those lessons are still there if you care to, and I ask you to subscribe to Moreh Yeshaya Hebrew Lessons. So after we went over the different verb stems and we went over the matter that we shown inside the link about the matter of the prefixes or suffixes, or in this case, kaf as a suffix, and the different letters in Hebrew that are identified as prefixes and what can they show for matters of identification. What do you see there on the bottom there in the purple is the yod letter making a Y sound, was serving in this particular case too as a prefix. It means he, whatever. As in Ya'aseh, he will make. As in Yedah, he will know. As in Yelek, he will go. As in Yamshik, he will continue. In many cases, Yod serving as a prefix with verbs, not all the time, but in many cases, when it's serving as a prefix, it is, brothers and sisters, a matter of he, whatever, the third person masculine singular, or the third person masculine. Because in the future tense, the singular and the plural is known by the matter of, say, a suffix. But always remember, family, whoever you pick or want as your Hebrew teacher, because there are several, Hebrew is easy regardless. All right? So let's look. Cause thee to be fruitful. The he fill stem serving as a matter of a prefix, if we will. All right? We're going to, family, all right, put all of this in a different size, if we will, right? And let us look, brothers and sisters, at Genesis chapter 4, verse 3. And let's see what we can ascertain in this. Hebrew is easy, the easiest Semitic language to learn. Understood, my friend. I would suggest anybody into the language, learn the words and the vocabulary that you use all the time. All right, because it's going to stick more to you. So whatever, most of us are speaking English, whatever you talk about the most in English, learn that in Hebrew first. All right. If we go, brothers and sisters, to Genesis chapter, all right, 4, what can we ascertain in this particular matter? It says, verse 3, and Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering. Chapter 4, verse 3. I'm sorry, not chapter 4, verse 4. I said 4, verse 3, but I read the 4th verse. Sorry. Chapter 4, verse 3. And in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. Wayar mekwetz yamin, wayabe kwayin mi pri haadama, minka layah. Now, let's look at this word here of the fruit of. The word peri means fruit, like the actual fruit, like a banana, an apple, etc. All right. So, what can we ascertain in this matter? We want to enlarge this, if we will, right? And put this in, say, times New Roman, peri, brothers and sisters, bold, not bold, bold, not bold. All right. Drop color that inside of the green. We have that peri means fruit. This mem, we're going to drop color that in the yellow. Serves as a prefix. Of or from is what that mem, meh, me in this particular case means. All right. So when we deal with this channel, we're dealing with the matter saying of what is said, as well as, brothers and sisters, what is written holds the same weight. All right. So peri itself means fruit. Para, the verb, means to be fruitful. All right. Want to point that out. So mipri means of the fruit of. So let that be noted for reference purposes. So if there are any questions or comments, let us get into this right here. It says essentially Manasseh. And what does this mean? It means one who causes to forget. What does, brothers and sisters, Ephraim mean, brothers and sisters? It means, brothers and sisters, sorry about that. Just trying to put that there in that particular case, and it's not working on that matter. So Ephraim, brothers and sisters, means, just put it like that, doubly fruitful. That's what Ephraim means. How do we know that? Para means to be fruitful, as we see here, said as pare, as in the command form. Bold, not bold, bold, not bold. All right, we're going to color code that part inside of the blue. No, we're not. We're going to color code that inside of this gray matter in this, and for whatever reason, it's not taking to the pay. Now it is. Let us enlarge this matter. All right. Pay, resh, and hey. If we put it and show it enlarged, and I need the pay to work with me in this particular case, right? Pare, from the word para, the verb means to be fruitful. Okay, family? So now we showed it with the Hefil stem. We went over the matter here with Manasseh in the different stems from the Hefil and the Piel and the Nifal and so forth. If there's any questions, again, brothers and sisters, I can be reached at the number you see there. That is 908-587-4841. 908-587-4841 in that particular matter. So in that particular case, family, as we begin to look at this and close out, we hoping and praying, having been online for almost an hour and a half, that everybody is well and will be better. We intend on Danite Publications to continue these kind of lessons for those who are interested, family. We're asking you to subscribe to the channel, to comment, to like, and to share. In this presentation, we are on the platforms More Yeshaya Torah lessons, and More Yeshaya Hebrew lessons. Brothers and sisters, we cited the book of Genesis and the book of Isaiah. So just wanted to show that in that particular matter and the meaning of the sons of Joseph's names, Manasseh, one who causes to forget, and Ephraim, doubly fruitful. Again, how we know it's doubly is because we have the ayim sound. The resh that has the kwamat followed by the yod makes the I sound. You have gerabayim, socks. You have, as we went over before, machanayim, which means two camps. You have the word sifatayim, which means lips, because a person has two lips. Then you have the word, for instance, shanatayim, which means 2 years. Then you have the word matayim, which means 200. Ayim in Hebrew identifies in many cases a dual two, T-O, plural. So Mizraim does not mean Egypt literally. It means double distress, as we've been pointing out, brothers and sisters. So again, if there's any questions or comments, please feel free to put within the chat. Thank you, brothers and sisters. We're going to play some praise music and close out. Thank you for that. Subscribe, please.
Shalom, shalom. Giving honor to the Creator of heaven and earth. I want to go over this, not going to be long. I want to go over verb and noun. Let us look at this, brothers and sisters. We have the word here, hora or hore. Now, in this particular case, we're dealing with it as a verb. All right? Hore, in this case, in the Hefel stem, which in root means to teach. Okay. All right. So, then we have this word here, more. The word more means teacher. So what do we see so far? The verb and then the noun, with the prefix of it with the mem there. This is a male teacher. Then we have this word here, and we can say it also as hore. Now in this case, we're not dealing with it as a verb, but as a noun, and this means parent, a male parent. Now we have this word here, okay, and we have it as morah. The word morah meaning teacher, a female teacher. All right. Then we have here the word hora. Okay. Hora meaning female parent. So what do we see so far? Hore in root meaning to teach, the verb. More, a teacher, a male one that is. Hore, in this case treated as a noun, the male parent. Then we have Morah, meaning female teacher or a teacher that's a female. Then we have Hura, a parent that's a female. And we have here the word Torah, generally said as law, but the word Torah really means teaching or instruction. For instance, when you read in the book of Proverbs and it says, forsake not the teaching of thy mother, all right? Al tishkat Torah imeka, forsake not the teaching of thy mother. So we just want to point that out. So we have a teacher, a male parent, a female teacher, a female parent. So what do we get out of this? The teachers are parents, and most definitely the parents are teachers. And what are they supposed to teach? The instruction. So just want to show how the Hebrew works in this particular case. All right, you can see that the O and the R sound is still there. The O and the R sound is still there. You may have a change with the mem or the tau or in root with the hey, but the general premise of the sound is still there. Unlike English, when teaching and instruction, those words do not sound alike. Whereas teacher and parent in English does not sound alike in root, all right, linguistically. So just want to point that out. Hebrew is easy. Get the book on Amazon. Shalom.